Yep, so it's Saturday morning. I'm really excited. We're going into Moscow, and we're gonna go visit an old Moscow suburb called Khitrovska. My pronunciation in Russian is always going to be terrible, but it's in central Moscow on the west side. Just making a quick switcheroo from one of the newer lines to the old brown ring road, and 2 stops to go, and we're running a little late. It's a beautiful, quaint part of Moscow, and its history is very similar to hell kitchens in New York in the 18th century. This area was really just dominated by jobless people and criminals. This area, like all areas, has the most beautiful churches, and you must never feel like you can't just open a door and walk in any time of the day. It doesn't matter what your faith is, or where you're from in the world. These churches will give you insight into Russia's history and culture. They're like the libraries, they're the cornerstones, they're the center, they're the heart of Russian culture, going back hundreds of years. So you see on this side here, one of the buildings, it's had some restoration work, but they're not putting too much effort into it. And then on this side here, my good friend Brian Green would be very happy, because over here the restoration has been completed, and these are actually prime residential properties now, but they don't want to, replaster it and stuff like that. They'll just preserve it the way it is. It goes back to 1800, this area. There was a Moscow mayor who bought up the land here for homeless people, or to settle homeless people here. Then what actually happened is, I think it was around about 1850, apparently, the middle of the 1800s, a law was enacted where people couldn't be owned anymore. Up until that time, I guess they were sort of like serfs. Whoever's land they lived on, those are the people that owned them. So once that law was appealed, then everybody came to Moscow. They ended up here, and that's how this became a little bit of a criminal, homeless enclave. And some of the famous Russian writers wrote about this area as being the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of society, the lowest level. It's been another awesome day cruising with my wife and sister-in-law. It's so nice to actually, have family, people from Moscow who know Moscow well, and my sister-in-law is a real wealth of information.